The night was never truly silent, not one. 6 million years ago. Back then, darkness wasn't just the absence of light. It was a living, breathing threat. Every shadow could hide death. Every sound could be your last. And yet a small group of early humans walked straight into it. They moved slowly through the dense jungle, their feet careful against the damp earth. Their hands gripped fire, small, flickering flames that pushed back the darkness just enough to survive. But tonight, something was different. Tonight, they carried more than fire. They carried an idea, a dangerous one, a weapon that had never truly existed before, at least not like this. A curved piece of wood, a stretched fiber, and a sharpened stick designed to fly. A bow. It was fragile, unproven, but if it worked, it could change everything. For the first time, humans wouldn't need to get close to kill. Distance could become their greatest advantage, or their final mistake. The group stopped. The jungle had gone quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that feels wrong. The insects had stopped chirping. The wind had stilled. Even the leaves seemed frozen. It was as if the entire forest was holding its breath. And that's when they felt it. They were not alone. One of the hunters slowly raised the bow. His hands trembled, not from weakness, but from instinct. Something was watching them, waiting. He couldn't see it, but he could feel it. A presence deep in the darkness between the trees. His heart pounded louder than the jungle itself. Then a sound. Soft. Almost silent. A footstep. Not theirs. His eyes snapped toward the trees. Nothing. Just darkness. But then, two glowing shapes appeared. Eyes. Watching. Unblinking. Too high off the ground to be anything normal. The hunter froze. This was the moment. The moment this new weapon would prove itself or fail. He pulled the string back slowly. The wood creaked under tension. The fiber stretched tight. This was not a spear you throw. This was something new, something powerful. He took a breath and released. The arrow sliced through the air. Fast, silent, deadly. For a split second, it felt like time had stopped. Then, impact. A solid hit. A direct strike. The group leaned forward, hope flashing in their eyes. It worked. It actually worked. But the jungle didn't celebrate. Instead, it growled. A deep, unnatural sound tore through the darkness. Not pain, not fear, something else, something worse. Anger. The trees shook violently as something massive moved within them. Branches snapped like twigs. The ground trembled under heavy, fast-moving steps. Whatever they had hit, it wasn't weak. It wasn't dying. It was coming. Fast. Panic exploded through the group. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. The bow was supposed to give them power, distance, control. But instead, it had done something else. It had provoked something they didn't understand. The hunters turned and ran. Fire dropped from their hands as survival instincts took over. Flames hissed out in the wet earth, leaving them with nothing but darkness behind them. And whatever was chasing them, the sound of it grew louder, closer. Each step it took was heavier than anything they had ever heard. It wasn't just fast. It was hunting. One of them looked back, just for a second, and that was enough. A massive shadow burst through the trees behind them. Too large, too fast, a shape that didn't belong to anything they had ever hunted before. And then, a scream. Cut short, silenced instantly. The group didn't stop. They couldn't. Stopping meant death. Their lungs burned as they pushed forward, blindly crashing through branches and roots. The jungle tore at their skin, but they didn't feel it. Fear had taken over everything. Behind them, the sounds continued. Heavy steps, breaking wood, and something else. Breathing. Slow. Controlled. It wasn't chasing wildly. It was choosing, picking them off one by one. The bow, their greatest hope, was gone. Dropped somewhere in the chaos. Useless in the darkness. Useless against something like this. Another scream echoed behind them. Closer this time. Too close. The group was getting smaller. Faster than they could run. Then suddenly, silence. Again, the sound stopped. No footsteps. No breathing. Nothing. The hunters slowed just slightly. Confused. Terrified. Was it gone? Had they escaped? For a moment, hope returned. And that's when they realized their mistake. The darkness around them felt heavier now. Closer, like it had closed in. They weren't being chased anymore. They were surrounded. A low growl echoed from somewhere nearby. Not behind them. Not in front. Everywhere. They turned in circles, trying to see something, anything. But there was nothing. Only darkness. Only fear. Then movement. Too fast to track. A blur between the trees. Another scream. Gone instantly. Now there were only a few left. Breathing hard. Frozen. Waiting. The jungle had become a trap, and they had walked straight into it. The invention that was supposed to make them stronger had done the opposite. It had revealed them, exposed them, announced their presence to something far more powerful. And now it was learning that humans could attack from a distance, learning that they were no longer defenseless. And next time, it would be ready. The last remaining hunter stood alone, his chest rising and falling rapidly, his eyes scanning the dark.